In this video, me and my group will be comparing and contrasting the two versions of The Lost World that we were assigned to study, being the book and the movie. My name is Pete, and without further ado, let's get started. The first version we will be analyzing is the book version. This is the original, and it was written by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle in 1912. Let's first lay out the different aspects which we'll be looking at.
Every good story has a plot, character, setting, conflict, theme, point of view, and tone. In the book version of The Lost World, the plot goes something like this. A reporter named Ned Malone is in love with Gladys Hankerton. He wants to marry her, but she rejects him. Gladys wants to marry a man who has faced death in the pursuit of a great deed. So Ned approached his editor, MacArdle, to find a new assignment to try to impress Gladys. MacArdle sends Ned to interview Professor George Challenger, who has stated he discovered living dinosaurs in South America. However, Professor Challenger has already injured one reporter who has tried to interview him in the past. Ned needs to come up with a way to trick him.
Tom Henry, a bacteriologist who is Ned's friend, helps him write a letter to Challenger, pretending are questions about one of his lectures. At the results, Challenger thinks Ned is a student of science and agrees to see him. However, after asking Ned some questions, Challenger finds out that Ned is actually a journalist, defiant, and Ned gains Challenger's respect and trust. Challenger then asks Ned to see him speak at a lecture of the Zoological Institute. There Challenger tears apart a lecturer's speech and is made fun by the audience. Because of this, a committee is formed to go to South America to test if there are real dinosaurs there. The volunteers are Professor Summery, Lord John Ruxton, and Ned Malone.
Lord John Ruxton decides to test Ned by asking him to help his sick neighbor. However, the problem is that the neighbor has a gun and will shoot anyone who tries to help him. Ned agrees, and Lord John Ruxton reveals that it was only a test. He is satisfied with Ned's courage. Ned will send back letters about the expedition and profit them, but only after Challenger consent. As the three men are getting ready to go to South America, Challenger comes on board with some final instructions. He also tells Ned he may print whatever he wishes about the expedition as long as he doesn't give their location. Then he hands the men an envelope. He tells them they are to open the envelope at noon in the town of Manaus.
In Manaus, the men hire 6 natives to help them on their journey, and they also open the envelope. They are surprised to see that the envelope contains only a blank piece of paper. But Challenger suddenly arrives and explains he will accompany them on the trip. They row down the Amazon River and has also brought 2 Indian guides along with him. Professor Summery, who does not believe Challenger's story, argues with him along the journey as they are walking through the jungle. Challenger sees a winged animal which he calls a pterodactyl, but Summery insists it's a stork. Once the men reach the base of the plateau, which is where the dinosaur lives, they look for a way to scale the cliffs that surround the plateau. While they are exploring, they discover the base camp of Mabel White, who was the first discoverer of the plateau. Challenger knew of Mabel White because he had been asked to save his life, but the man was dead by the time he arrived to help him. However, he did find Mabel White's sketchbook, which showed where the plateau was along with the creatures that inhabited it.
The men find a way up to the plateau by following a sign on a tree. They also found the corpse of James Clover, one of Maple White's companions. They try to enter through a cave, but it is blocked. One night, while the men are roasting an animal for their dinner, a large animal suddenly swoops down from and takes their dinner. Professor Summerlee has to admit the animal is pterodactyl, which allowed him and Professor Challenger to become friends. The men eventually scale a precipice and using a tree as a bridge, they are able to reach the plateau. Their joy is short-lived. After Gomez, one of their Hard natives, destroyed the bridge, the men are now stranded on the plateau. Gomez does this as revenge because Lord John Roxton once killed his brother.
During their explorations, the men come upon a pterodactyl nest in a volcano pit. They are attacked, so they escape and find that their camp has been ransacked by an unknown creature. That night, they also hear dinosaurs fighting. Professor Summerlee wants the kill to find a way out of plateau. Ness climbs a tree and finds stand ape like human hiding there. He also sees a lake and names it Lake Gades. Then, Ness goes for a walk by himself and discovers cave which have light coming from them. He knows these lights are probably produced by other human-like creatures. On his return, he finds the other gone. Because of this, he calls the Sambo, the native who has stayed to help the men, and asks for some rope.
The next morning, Lord John returns to the camp and explains to Ned how he and the others were captured by a man called the Doda. The two of them arrive just in time to save Challenger and Summerlee from death. They then join the good tribe called the Akara tribe. They live in cave, and the light that they saw that night were made by them. The Doda and the Akara are constantly at war. The crew helped the Akara fight in the final battle, and they are successful. The male members of the Doda are killed, and the women and children are enslaved. The Akara show the men a map which leads to a cave they can use to exit the pressure. Challenger make a lot air balloon out of a fish stomach, and the men use it to lower themselves down safely.
They arrive back to London, but the report they give to Zoological Institute is met with skepticism. Then Challenger surprises them by showing a live pterodactyl for all to see. Everyone believes them, and the men are treated as conquering heroes. Sadly, Ned finds out that Gladys had married another man. But that's alright, because they also discovered they are rich. All thanks to Lord John Roxton, he had discovered diamonds on the plateau. He shares the money they are worth with the others.
And that was the plot of the book The Lost World by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, written in 1912. Now we will compare it to the plot of the movie version of The Lost World, made in 1992. There are many, many differences to be pointed out. First of all, there is no Gladys. Ned finds the inspiration to adventure all by himself. Ned also did not need Tarp Henry's help to write a letter. He just pretended to be an Italian scholar. When he goes to Professor Challenger's house in the movie, he is greeted by Challenger's maid, unlike in the book where he met Challenger's wife. In the movie, during Challenger's first initial exploration by himself, he was betrayed by Pedro, who stabbed his leg. An important thing to note is that their destination is actually in Africa, not South America like it was in the book. Therefore, settings like the Amazon River are never shown, unlike in the book. Another major thing that is different is that a woman volunteers to be the photographer. They have to let her in because she is rich and she will fund the expedition. Lord John Roxton does not make an appearance. A 13-year-old boy named Jim stows away on the ship, but he is found. He wants to go along on the expedition, and Ned is okay with it. They arrive and meet Kate Crenshaw, and she has a monkey called Rebecca. A Portuguese man named Gomez joins them as one of their helpers, since he can speak English. Another character named Malu also makes an appearance. She is a native woman and joins them as their translator and guide. After they take a boat and arrive inland, Mojo catches up to them. He is still alive in the movie because he was never harmed by Lord John Roxton, because he doesn't exist here. Instead of looking around for a way up like in the book, the crew makes it up the cliff by using Challenger's grappling hook machine. Once they are at the top, they leave a rope hanging down as their means of exit. However, Gomez betrays them by destroying the ropes. This is different from in the book, where Gomez pushes the bridge down and is killed by Lord John Roxton. Gomez does this as revenge for his brother Pedro, who was killed by Challenger during his previous journey. However, in the book, Gomez does this as revenge for his brother Mojo, who was killed by Lord John. Later on, Jim climbs a rock and finds a strange tribesman painted like a skeleton, though in the book, Ned was the one who climbs it because Jim didn't exist. That night, Jim, Ned, and Malu are walking outside the camp where they run into a dangerous dinosaur. They have to cover themselves in a weird fruit to not get eaten. When the other team members are captured by the skeleton tribe, Jim comes up with an idea and turns Ned's jacket into a hot air balloon. In the book, the hot air balloon was made later on as a way to get down from the plateau. The balloon drifts away, distracting the skeleton tribe members. The team escape along with the human tribe members. They are welcomed into the human tribe like in the book. Summerlee invades into the enemy tribe territory to gather strange leaves to heal a baby pterodactyl. When they are chased, the good tribe comes to help by throwing rocks and boulders. The evil tribe loses their leader and asks to rejoin because they were once a single tribe that split apart. The two tribes rejoin once again and peace is restored. But this is different because in the book, the men in the evil tribe are put to death and the women and children are made into slaves. The crew swears an oath to return again, and they come down from the plateau to find their boats. Gomez attacks and he is killed. So unlike the book, they never found any diamonds, and they didn't use a hot air balloon to escape, and they never built a cage to watch the dinosaurs. They go home and present their claims, but of course nobody believes them until they show the baby pterodactyl called Percy. He doesn't escape like in the book, so Percy is put in the zoo instead, and then he is released by Jim, Jenny, and Ned. Now that we have pointed out the differences in the plot, setting, and characters between the book and the movie, let's move on to the other aspects. The conflict stays the same, and so does the theme, being exploration and some good versus evil. In the book, the tone is kept neutral and sometimes inspirational, which is perfect for good storytelling. This is also apparent in the movie, sometimes creating suspenseful shots too. As for the point of view, the book is told in first person through the perspective of Ned Malone. On the other hand, the movie is told in third person as if there was a narrator. It still follows Ned as he is the main character though. And that is it for our compare and contrast video. Thank you for watching.